안녕하세요, Eliza. I am Eliza of Benny and Eliza, and I'm here for another informative video. Before anything else, I'd like to greet everyone a happy new year. The year 2022 has gone by really fast. Parang kailan lang na nagkakaubusan ng biogesic sa mga pharmacies. And now we are off to a new start, a brand new year, and a year which I hope will be so much better than the previous one. So as you know, and if napanood niyo yung mga previous videos, I'm already here in Korea. And today I'm going to share how I was able to get here through the C3-1 visa, or also known as short-term visit visa for Filipinos married to Koreans. So this is specifically for Filipino-Korean married couples who have already registered their marriage both in the Philippines and in Korea. So please watch until the end of this video to know the details and the procedures on how you can obtain this kind of visa. Just like what I've mentioned, this particular type of visa is only for Filipinos married to Koreans who want to visit for tourism, who want to visit their Korean spouse or spend time with his family. But if your intention is to live with your Korean spouse, then you have to apply for the spouse visa, which is the F61 visa. So again, today I'm going to talk about the steps and the requirements in applying for the C3-1 visa. So first things first, I am in no way connected nor related to the Korean embassy or the visa issuance office. I'm not a travel agent. I am also not a visa consultant or whatsoever. I'm going to talk about my experience on how I gathered and applied for the spouse visa, on how I gathered the documents and applied for the C3-1 visa, as well as the things that I have encountered while preparing for the visa application until before I left the Philippines. The first and most important requirement for you to be able to apply for the C3-1 visa is that your marriage must be registered both in the Philippines and in Korea. We also made a short video on how to report your marriage in Korea if you got married in the Philippines. If you got married in Korea and you have to report it to the Philippines, you must go to the Philippine Embassy in Seoul. So you may check their website, and the steps and the requirements are there on how to report your marriage in the Philippines. Second, these are the requirements that you must prepare in applying for the C3-1 visa. You'll also be able to see this in the website of the Korean Embassy of the Philippines. It's updated. It's very clear. Everything is listed. But if you have questions, you can easily email the embassy or the visa office. They are very responsive. They reply within the day, sometimes the day after, which I did. I asked a lot of questions to them and they were very responsive and helpful. Kaya tama yung mga na-prepare ko na documents. Hindi na ako nag-prepare ng any other unnecessary documents, which saved me the time and the hassle. So the number one requirement is the application form, which you can download from the embassy's website. Make sure you leave no spaces in the form. I don't know, I'm not sure if I can make a video on how to fill up the application form, but there are some trusted websites that talk about how you can correctly fill up the visa application form. The second requirement is one-piece passport-sized colored picture. When you go to a photo studio, you can tell them that you need a photo for the Korean visa. So alam nila yung size ng picture na yon. The third document or requirement that you need is, of course, your passport. Valid passport. Hindi expired, hindi mag-expire, hindi mutilated. So the next requirement is a photocopy of the bio page of your passport. So andun yung picture mo and yung information mo. Next is the original and photocopy of your visas and arrival stamps from OECD countries for the past 5 years. So, if nakapag-travel ka to any OECD countries, they will see it in your passport kasi you will submit it naman to the embassy. So, the original visas and the stamps are in your passport, and then photocopy them as well. And you will submit it together with the other documents. But if hindi ka naman nakapag-travel to any OECD country or to any other countries, that's also okay. So, you must just submit them if applicable, if meron ka nun. The next document is the original copy of your PSA marriage certificate. Hindi mo na kailangang ipa-apostle or ipa-notarize yung document na to. Nakalagay na rin siya sa announcements sa embassy na yung mga PSA documents or na original na ipapasa mo, no need to be notarized or apostilled. Okay, so the next document will come from your Korean spouse, and this is the copy of the Certificate of Korean Marriage History. Detailed. It must be detailed. Since your marriage has already been reported in Korea, your name must already appear in this certificate under your husband's name. So how will you be able to get a copy of this? So you have to tell your Korean spouse that he or she needs to get this document. My husband just downloaded it from the government website of Korea, and he also mentioned that you can also get it from the Jumin Center for any government office, or you can get some government related documents. No need to get the original one kasi that means your spouse must mail you the document pa, so it might take longer. So it's okay if it's just a scanned copy, or he can take a photo of that document and then send the photo with you. Just make sure that it's printed clearly. Malinis and malinaw yung image na ipiprint mo. So the next document is again from your Korean partner, from your Korean spouse, and this is the copy of the bio page of their passport. Next is the invitation letter from the Korean spouse. I once received a message asking about what kind of letter is this invitation letter? Ano yung format? Actually, wala namang format. When I asked the embassy if the letter should be handwritten or computerized, they said it actually doesn't matter as long as the letter contains the details of your trip, the purpose of your travel, and of course the invitation message from your Korean spouse. So there's no template, there's no format for that. But I have one tip. Make sure that the details in the invitation letter also matches the details that you're going to write in the application form. Make sure that very consistent. Nagma-match siya. So there's a bigger chance na ma-approve yung application ninyo. Because it proves that you have no other reason why you have to go to Korea, diba? These next two requirements are for the Korean spouses who are residing or working in the Philippines. It's the photocopy of the Korean Philippine visa or ARCI card, as what they call it. Okay, so you will your Korean spouse will only have this if he or she lives or works in the Philippines. But if your spouse lives in Korea, no need to prepare this. No need to submit this one. And the original employment certificate or DTI permit or business permit if may business at nagwo-work dito si Korean spouse. So again, if your Korean spouse lives and works and has a business in Korea, no need to prepare this one. In my case, the visa officer asked me if my husband lives in Korea and I said yes. So, hindi na nila hinanap to and hindi ko rin naman pinrepare. Kasi hindi naman siya available, hindi siya applicable. Alright, so now may bayad ba yung visa application? If you are planning to stay for less than 60 days, so up to 59 days, it's free. Wala ka pong babayaran. But if you are planning to stay there for 60 to 90 days, there is a visa fee of 2,000 pesos. If you're planning to apply for a multiple visa for 5 years, then it's free as well. but it still depends on the embassy if they will grant you a multiple visa. But there's a big chance if they give you a multiple visa, then much better. But I think for multiple visa holders, you can only stay up to 30 days. There's just another concern for Filipinos married to Koreans regarding the CFO certificate. So CFO stands for Commission on Filipinos Overseas. So this organization makes sure that Filipinos will be going to another countries legally and hindi mapapahamak or magiging victim ng human trafficking or any other crimes while abroad. Now, CFO requires Filipinos who are married to foreign partners or who are married to foreigners to get this kind of certificate. When I was checking the requirements for the spouse visa, one of the documents I need is the CFO certificate. I visited CFO's website and registered for a schedule after I was able to obtain my visa. Okay, so I hope I'll be able to make another video on how to apply for a CFO certificate. But anyway, to make sure, since I still have a lot of time before I went to Korea that time, I was still able to complete the counseling. So for the spouses of for the Korean spouses, CFO requires two kinds of counseling. First is the group telecounseling, and then after I completed that, there's a special session, a special workshop only for the partners of Koreans, and that is like sort of like an agreement between the Philippine government and the Korean government. So now that you have all the documents, or you have already gathered the requirements for the C3-1 visa application, you must go to the Korean Embassy's visa application website to reserve a slot before you go to the embassy to submit your documents. So the time I applied for the visa, walk-ins were still welcomed. I think that was the time when there were really long lines of applicants and they had a cut-off. People had to like sleep on the street and wait overnight so that they can submit their applications. But because of that, the embassy improved the system, and now it's an making an online reservation for your visa appointment. I've read and I've heard from some friends that it's a bit difficult to get a slot. A lot of people have been trying to apply for a visa, but there are slots allotted for family visas, spouse visas, and C3-1 visa, I guess. So I hope that by the time you try to get a slot for a visa appointment, makakuha kayo kaagad. So that's it. Those are all the documents that you need in applying for the C3-1 visa, the short-term visit visa for Filipinos married to Koreans. If you have questions or clarifications, you may leave comments down below, or you can email us at bennyeliza02@gmail.com. I'll do my best to reply to each one of them. I'm going to be really busy soon because I'm gonna give birth really soon too. I hope I was able to give you very useful information about getting a C3-1 visa, because during the time that I was searching for information about this type of visa, wala akong masyadong makitang information. So I only relied on the Korean Embassy's website and asked a lot of questions through email sa visa office. So you can do that too. You can send them an email or call their hotline if you have clarifications. If this video was very helpful, please give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications for our new videos. Again, this is Eliza. 감사합니다.